All right, Steeler fans, it is time for the Defcon level updates for this week, heading into week 14, as well as diving into the mailbag segment. Y'all had a lot of questions. I'm going to answer all of them, but we start with the Defcon levels, just in case anyone doesn't understand the Defcon levels, which is an actual thing with the United States, not United States military. Defcon level 5 means all is well, things are perfect. Defcon level 1 means that war is imminent, and that's not good. So 1 is bad, 5 is good. Keep that in the back of your mind. Let's get started with the quarterback position. It would have been easy to dip this down to a 1, and I was tempted, but I didn't. I kept it at a 2. I think that personally, Aaron Rodgers gives them the best chance to win. I said this on the Behind Enemy Line segment. His pre-snap recognition, in my opinion, makes up for a lot of the things that he lacks physically. So I have the quarterback position staying at a 2. Running back, it goes down to a 3. I'm not faulting the running backs. The running game wasn't there last week. I was hoping it was going to be a strong day for the running backs. I still like this group, but it goes down to a 3 due to lack of production. Wide receivers and tight ends, they're so limited. Adam Thielen's not going to move this needle. It's a 2, and it stays a 2. The offensive line is a 3, and it stays a 3. I still am happy. I know Zach Frazier had a bad snap. Every center has a bad snap. Darmani Dawson had bad snaps. Mike Webster had bad snaps. Do we forget Marquise Pouncey snapping the ball over Ben Roethlisberger's head in a playoff game? Like, these things happen. He's not perfect. I have it staying as a 3, even though the Broderick Jones injury, I think, is going to be more key than people think. Defensively, the defensive backs, they are a 2. They stay a 2. But with Asante Samuel Jr. now being inserted into things, I like this defensive back room. Darius Slay never fit. I always questioned the fit with Darius Slay when they signed him to the 1-year, $10 million deal. I like the room, but it's staying at a 2. Inside linebackers, Patrick Queen is banged up. We don't know about Cole Holcomb. He was sick for seemingly weeks. It's a 3. It goes down from a 4. We'll see what they do. We'll see about on the health, but trending in the wrong direction. And so are the outside linebackers. It went from a 3 to a 2. Now, these outside linebackers, whether you're talking about Nick Herbig, Alex Highsmith, TJ Watt, throw in Jack Sawyer, I don't care. They were going up against backup tackles. Everyone thought this was a game where if the Steelers can put them, the Bills that is, in obvious passing situations, they'd be able to pin their ears back and get after Josh Allen, and that didn't happen. So outside linebacker, they didn't even have a quarterback hit. Horrible day. That goes from a 3 to a 2. The defensive line, without Derek Hartman, they got gashed. And it was bad. And Cam Hayward was crying about being kicked in the stomach. And it was just bad from start to finish. It was a 2, and it goes down to a 1. They couldn't stop a nosebleed, and that makes me concerned heading into week 14. Special teams, Corliss Waitman continues to be inconsistent and ineffective as a punter. Here's my theory on this, because I know a lot of people have asked me. If you're punting from around midfield, and this is just my own opinion, and I know that there's wind and all that stuff. If you're punting near midfield and it is fair caught at the 18, that's a bad punt. Based on the fact that if you are try to pin them deep, if it goes into the end zone, they're going to get it at the 20. If they fair catch it at the 18, it does you no good. He needs to be better. The Steelers defense needs to pin people back. We need some field flipping plays. And for the first time in a long time, Chris Boswell didn't even have a field goal attempt in a game against the Bills. Special teams is a 2. It goes down from 3. And the fan Defcon level, it's at a 1. It's at a 1. It goes down from a 2 to a 1. Fans are chanting Fire Mark Tomlin. They're booing Renegade. It is bad. And that's all I'm going to say about that. That's your Defcon levels for the week. Let's get right into the mailbag segment every single Tuesday on my Twitter handle at jhartman, HARTMAN_PIT. I put out the tweet, you respond. That's all it takes. Let's go to Jeff Coons, our buddy up north. He said, greetings from Not Matt, Canada. I watched Sunday afternoon's debacle with a good friend of mine who's a diehard Bills fan. Needless to say, I didn't drive home with him from his place singing Walking on Sunshine in the freezing rain. My question is, if the Steelers somehow beat the Ravens on Sunday and retake the division lead, does the fan base forgive the terrible slide, or are the knives still out anticipating the worst? Unleash hell in December? I doubt it, sadly. I don't think a win on Sunday would do much for the fan Defcon level, if I'm being honest. Because if they're like me, we've seen this before. Even if they win the division, are they going to win a big game in the playoffs? It doesn't look like they have that in them this year. They are going to have to string together some quality wins down the stretch. Beat the Lions. beat the Ravens again in week 18. I don't know. I go into Cleveland. They haven't won in Cleveland. They didn't win there last year in the blizzard on Thursday night. If they win those games, maybe. I don't know. Let's go to Rob. He says, it's been a while since I asked a question, but I never stopped listening. Thank you. He said, you mentioned on Monday that this team has no identity, and I agree. What do we need to do to find that identity? Do we burn it down completely, or are there guys here worth building around? There's absolutely players worth building around. The offensive line is a great example. You have really good. I've been very pleased with Joey Porter Jr. this season. If Asante Samuel Jr. works out, you could have him signed. Get that secondary figured out. I think that we all can agree that, there's the safety situation. If Kyle Duggar is a piece of that with Deshaun Elliott coming back, there are pieces to build around. But in terms of identity, it's tough. Like at this stage of the game, if you don't have an identity, I don't think you're going to get one. Let's continue. Will Caldwell, he has several questions. He said, hey, Jeff, can we be done with the Mike Tomlin Master Motivator title? This team was uninspired at best, and it seems to be the most inconsistently motivated teams in the league year in and year out. I may be wrong because I primarily watch the Steelers, but it seems that way. I don't know. The Master Motivator part of it is behind closed doors typically. Does the team show up and do they actually play with an inspired edge? And I can say in the second half of that game on Sunday, they didn't. So maybe we do start questioning those things. Will continues. Say the Steelers make the playoffs. Does that cover all the issues, thereby preventing a coach or staffing overhaul? If not, would a playoff win or division win prevent an overhaul? For the fans at this point, what would it take to turn things around, or is it too late? In terms of the fan perception of the team, you would have to go on a deep playoff run. You'd have to win the division. You're making the playoffs. You're hosting a game. You got to win that first game, get to the divisional round, maybe win there and make it to this. That's what it would take, in my opinion. Is it too late? I don't think it's ever too late. But at the same time, you do have to wonder if you're running out of time. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Let's go to Todd Hall. He said, Jeff, not a question, more of a comment based on your I'm done speech on the postgame show. I'm giving this week. I'm a Steelers optimist to a fault. If they come out flat against the Ravens and play like they did versus the Bills, I will watch, but with anger and disgust. Yeah, I'm never going to not watch the team, but I think that it's a situation where, man, it's just there's so much going on. So much going on. They got to win. It's simple. It's as simple as that. Let's go to Tendercat. I know I'm probably too late. You're not, but if this team beats the Ravens this Sunday, do not let them fool you. They are still the same team that will never go anywhere with Tomlin. I'm glad you came over to the side that agrees Tomlin has to go. Okay, don't let it fool you is what he says. Let's go to Melissa. The fan base isn't at rock bottom, but this is as low as I've seen it. Denver and New England are clear examples of the turnaround that's possible with good coaches and a talented but developing quarterback. How is it so obvious what needs to happen but won't? What is Art Rooney doing or seeing? I think a part of it is that the Steelers have not been in the mix for one of those young developing quarterbacks that you mentioned. Bo Nix, he was a top 15 pick. You talk about Drake May, he was a top 10 pick, I think top 5 pick, I think. The Steelers, they have to be in that realm, whether it's to trade up or figuring it out. They have to figure out that position. I still think that is the most important thing here. They have to figure that position out. Let's go to Annie. Hi, Jeff. I have 2 questions for you today. Number one, how much of the offensive inconsistency is coaching versus talent versus scheme? I'm going to lean on Coach Kevin Smith, who says it's all of it. It's coaching issues, it's talent, and it is schematics. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to agree with him. 2, are the Steelers evaluating talent correctly, or is this draft philosophy stuck in 2010? Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Annie. I will say that I don't think it's stuck in 2010. I think that Omar Khan and Andy Weidel are putting a good core foundation together, and it's just a matter of finishing it, and that could be the most difficult part. Let's go to Schnecky. He said, I keep hearing quotes from guys like TJ Watt and Cam Hayward, Minka in the past about what the defense needs to do. Are they not opening their mouths in practice? That stuff infuriates me. You get paid that much money, you better open your mouths. And he uses the hashtag Ride or Die Crew. Thank you, Schnecky. I don't know. That's a good question. No idea. Let's go to Frosty the Bear. He asked several. Does Tomlin get a pass and recognition as a top NFL coach based solely on 2008 to 2010? Sure, there were some winning seasons, but we know now that Big Ben covered his coaching flaws. I don't know if you can't deny the wins. You can't say, well, he won, but there's Hall of Fame coaches that never won a Super Bowl. There's people that are still vying for the Hall of Fame that are semifinalists and finalists that never won a Super Bowl or only won one. So it's one of those situations where you can't deny the wins. They did happen. Next, is it time to retire Tomlin and renegade? Tomlin has at least 2 more years. Should they pass on this upcoming quarterback class and wait until Tomlin is gone and hopefully Art retires, trade or cut all the aging big paycheck players and rebuild? I don't know if that's all needs to happen. I know that everyone is in just burn it to the ground mode. I'm just not there yet. I really am not. All right, last one from Frosty DeBear. 10 seasons with 10 or less wins, 7 seasons with 11 or more wins, 2025 still being decided, 4-9 in the playoffs since 2011. If Tomlin was hired in 2020, would he still have a job in Pittsburgh? I think he would, because Pittsburgh that's like the best job security you can find in the NFL. All right, Tyler asked several questions. Hey, Jeff, I got a nice rant with a few questions for you. First, is this the best TJ Watt is going to be for the rest of his career? Send him packing. And he's saying, if this is that, then send him packing. He lost all of his splash, and the 1 and 2 big plays every few games isn't going to cut it anymore for me. Do you agree? It's hard to argue. I'll put it that way. He continued. Everyone was expecting this to be a gap year at the start of the season, and we all were predicting a 9-8 to 11-6 season. Why does this feel so much different when it's ultimately going to end how everyone predicted? That's a great way of putting it. I can't say anything. I can't say anything about that, because we did predict this style. 9-8 would be the floor. 11-6 would be the ceiling. Tyler continues. Would you be open, Tomlin approved, to pick swap first rounds and trade Tomlin to the Giants? Easy way to move up in the draft and save all of the other draft capital. If Tomlin were to leave at the end of the year, would you prefer the offense or defense-minded coach? If Tomlin wants out and he waives his no trade clause, then if the Giants are offering a first-round pick, their first-round pick, I would be interested in that. But I do know that the Denver Broncos sent the Saints for Sean Payton. I think it was a 2nd and a 4th, or a 2nd and a 5th, and the Saints sent them a 4th. So I'm not sure if it'll go a first round. I know that John Gruden in that situation was a first-round draft pick, but still, it's interesting. What I would prefer an offensive-minded coach, but at the same time, that's probably just because I'm sick and tired of seeing crappy offense. All right, and lastly from Tyler, he said, I was and still stand by fully on board with bringing in Rodgers this season because I truly feel that there were no better options available. Going into next year will really show if the Steelers are committed to the future or okay with mediocrity with how the quarterback is handled. Fair enough. RJ McCollum, he said, no question, just hope we sweep the Dirty Birds. I'll be campaigning again. Big G for offensive coordinator in 2026. I was given a football dad joke book for my birthday, so I wanted to use one for fun. What is a football player's favorite ice cream? Any given Sunday. Like that. I like that a lot. Let's go to David Briggs. Hey, Jeff, since when did our home games become a sitting only crowd? Like it's a Eagles or Kansas concert in 2025. I've been seeing videos of how quiet Acrisure has become, even on crucial third downs, and nobody's up on their feet. David, you bring this up, and I'm going to have to ask Dave Schofield about it, because he has and his brother Rich, they're season ticket holders, and I know that their seats are in different parts of the stadium. But I would be unbelievably annoyed if fans around me weren't standing up for key plays. I get that you want to sit. I get that you want to make sure you're seeing everything. But my gosh, get up on your feet. Get loud. What are we doing? This is a sporting event. It kind of reminds me of concert situations. I grew up, I'm a big Parrot Head fan. It's a Jimmy Buffett fan. I'm a huge Parrot Head. I saw him in concert a ton, and people stood the entire show, and you're dancing, and you're partying, you're singing and dancing. And then my wife and I went to a Jack Johnson show, and we're Jack Johnson fans, and we like his music, but we'd never been to a show that wasn't a giant party, which is a Buffett concert. And everyone was just sitting around. I'm like, what is going on? You're just sitting around? It didn't make sense. It was weird. That's what I feel like when you describe that. I don't get it either, David. All right, lastly, but certainly not least, Steeler Fan 69. Breaking news. Chuck Norris just got shot. The bullet is in critical condition. Great stuff. Oh, I forgot more from Steeler Fan 69. He said, hello, my friend. I've just found out my dentist has won Dentist of the Year, but all he got was a little plaque. Why is Santa so jolly all the time? Because he knows where all the naughty girls live. And then lastly, I'm doing crunches twice a day, Cap'n in the morning and Nestle at night. Cap'n Crunch and Nestle Crunch. Love it. This has been a great mailbag segment, a great podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. We will be back on Friday, Coach's Corner, all that fun stuff, heart to heart, the plays, you name it. You know how we finish these out, though. Be safe, be kind, and God bless. Make sure you check out SteelCurtainNetwork.com. We'll see you on Friday. Go Steelers.